On our broadcast tonight, Americans arrested in Haiti for trying to get children out. They say they're just trying to help, but what really happened? Also tonight, a close-up look at the work of healing on board the hospital ship Comfort. Damage control and angry customers for Toyota in the midst of its recall over those faulty gas pedals. Hard numbers in the new budget out today, including more red ink than ever, and how it may finally clip some very expensive wings, our fleecing of America tonight. And knowing the drill, meet a woman who's breaking barriers, giving orders, and winning respect. Our new series of reports here tonight. Nightly News begins now.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams.
Good evening. We have been closely following the issue of just how difficult it is for American families to adopt children from Haiti, and this may be an example of why that is. Members of a church group from the U.S. are tonight accused of trying to take 33 children out of that country, including children whose parents are reportedly alive. Members of the group say they were trying to rescue vulnerable orphans, while one member of the Haitian government insists they knew what they were doing was wrong. All of this as that country continues a life and death struggle every day, now 20 days since the quake. We begin here tonight with NBC's Michelle Kaczynski in Port-au-Prince. Michelle, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. These 10 Americans, one of whom became ill in jail and had to be hospitalized, are accused of attempted child trafficking. But getting to the bottom of what exactly happened out here and whether their methods were as sound as perhaps their intentions were is about as difficult as it is to do anything in Haiti right now. The American church group spoke out from this Haitian jail, where they will have to spend a third night.
This is absolutely not trafficking, and we know for without a doubt that God's going to reveal truth.
Waiting for a judge to decide whether they will be formally charged with trafficking in children.
Our understanding is that they had lost parents during the quake, or possibly some of them had a parent abandon them before the quake.
The 10 were stopped Saturday at the Dominican border. With them, 33 children, but no official documents.
Without passport, without paper.
The group, mostly from Idaho, calls itself the Haitian Orphan Rescue Mission. Members say they were simply taking the children from a damaged orphanage in Haiti to a new one they had prepared in the Dominican Republic.
I was just going to come back and fill out the one additional piece of paperwork they wanted me to complete. That all changed that next morning, and they brought all of us back into this, I believe their Department of Justice, and ultimately put us in jail and took the children away.
According to information they posted online, one of the goals of their New Life Children's Refuge there is to provide opportunities for adoption. But several of these 33 children, now being cared for at an orphanage outside the capital, it turns out, have parents. 10-year-old Sabrina said she was promised a good school and a vacation and that her parents could visit her. "I miss my mama and my papa," she said.
I waited patiently for the Lord.
The Americans insist they did not plan to adopt out any of the children with parents, and that permission to take them had come from this man, Haitian pastor Jean Sanvi, who also lives in the U.S.
I had verbal agreement from the parents with their names and the contact phone number. In any case, we can contact them. And also they have our contact numbers.
Sanvi runs 4 orphanages in Haiti. We first found one where dozens of children in dirty clothes engulfed us. The adults said many were given up by their parents. At another makeshift orphanage that had housed 9 of the children, Lord Sanfi, a volunteer, said the pastor had permission from all living parents to send their children to the Dominican Republic with the Americans. She said no money changed hands and that it was a great opportunity, that the children were full of joy to go because they have nothing here. The U.S. State Department says what happens next lies with the Haitian government and that the judicial system here is up and running, but that the U.S. is helping to determine what this group's motives were. Brian?
Tough story to try to figure out. Michelle Kaczynski starting our coverage in Port-au-Prince tonight. Michelle, thanks. And also in Haiti tonight, those medical evacuation flights to the U.S. are now back on. They had been suspended for 4 days while officials tried to hash out issues surrounding the cost of military treatment. But now they are once again bringing Haitians seriously injured in the quake to this country for emergency medical care. We'll have more of our reporting from Haiti later on in this broadcast. Now, however, we turn to a big and still developing story in this country. The issue is product safety. The product here is Toyota. The company said today it's going to begin fixing the 2.3 million cars that have been recalled for faulty accelerators. They also apologize for the problems. Questions are, will the fix be enough? And can Toyota fix the damage to its brand? Phil LeBeau covers the car business for CNBC, and for us, we're happy to have him here in our New York studios. What a hit Toyota has taken here.
And it continues to go on and on. You know, this is the second time in 4 months, Brian, that Toyota has said that it has a plan to stop its cars from unintentionally speeding up. Back in October, the company said get rid of the floor mats and we'll also shave down the gas pedals. That should take care of the problem. Now Toyota is having dealers add a part to the gas pedals.
At no charge. We need to make sure that whenever a customer needs us, we're responsive.
Across the country, Toyota dealers are gearing up for the big fix.
We're happy to inspect your vehicle if you're experiencing a problem.
This Toyota dealership outside Washington, D.C. will start repairing faulty gas pedals later this week.
As a dealer, I have 100%, even more, confidence in what Toyota does, and I know it's the right thing.
To fix more than 2 million vehicles, Toyota will add a small metal plate to the gas pedal. It will ease friction and, according to the company, stop the pedal from sticking and cars from accelerating after drivers take their foot off the gas. Toyota ran the plan by federal safety officials, and Toyota's president believes the repair will stop questions about whether or not Toyotas are safe to drive.
We're very confident between the first recall that we've had on the entrapment of the pedal and now this on the overall pedal. I think we have it.
There have also been questions about whether or not faulty electronics in Toyota accelerators are causing cars and trucks to speed up, but the company denies that's the problem.
We've tested it, outside agencies have tested it. There are fail-safe mechanisms within the electronics, so we are confident that it is not an electronics issue.
But after 2 recalls of more than 7 million vehicles worldwide and anecdotal reports of deadly accidents involving their cars, there's plenty of skepticism that Toyota knows exactly what's causing the problem.
Toyota earlier said it was the floor mat. Now they're saying it's the accelerator pedal. What the consumer must do is wait to see if it works. And if it doesn't work, it's the consumer's life who's on the line.
Not knowing if this fix will work is what scares Toyota owners who claim their cars have sped up unexpectedly.
I don't want to take that car back unless I have a guarantee that this isn't going to happen again.
With 2.3 million Toyotas needing to be repaired, Toyota dealers are extending hours, even going 24/7. But the sheer volume of cars being recalled means this issue is going to linger for Toyota, possibly for months, Brian.
Oh, we'll be talking about it for years to come. Phil LeBeau here with us in New York. Phil, thanks as always. In Washington, President Obama unveiled his budget proposal for the coming year, and the numbers are huge, staggering, in fact. $3.8 trillion in total federal spending and another all-time record budget deficit, $1.6 trillion. This assumes taxes will go up by $1 trillion over the next 10 years through the expiration of the Bush tax cuts on families making more than $250,000 a year. And today's budget sets aside $100 billion in spending to create jobs. This is a blueprint with a lot of assumptions built into it. With us tonight for more on what it all means, our chief White House correspondent, political director, Chuck Todd. Chuck, again, we say the numbers are staggering. There's very little to compare them against. What kind of context should be attached to this?
Well, first of all, this is the beginning of the process, not the end. This is the president's proposed budget. But as we know, it's Congress that decides how to appropriate money and how Congress receives this, and they will nitpick at a lot of these proposals. You talked about you have the expiration of those so-called Bush tax cuts. There won't be a vote on those, but that's going to get a heated political rhetoric is going to be used to talk about those tax cuts quite a bit. There's one tax deduction that they want to eliminate on those same income earners. That will come up for a vote, and that could become a political hot potato. You have other things like his proposed cuts in the manned space program of NASA, which could become politically a hot potato in the state of Florida when you talk about jobs, and of course that state is a politically relevant state. But as for these deficit projections, these are just that, projections, and it's assuming the economy is continuing to recover. If it does not, these deficit projections that we see today, 1.6 billion this year, 1.3 billion next year, those numbers could go way up. And if health care doesn't pass, because this budget assumes health care will pass, that's yet another $150 billion that would be tacked onto the deficit. So there's a long way to go before we know what these exact numbers are going to look like and what Congress ends up passing. Brian?
Another story we'll be talking about for months to come. Chuck Todd at the White House for us tonight. Chuck, thanks. And even as Washington struggles to find ways to save money, there are still lots of items in the budget that are hard to explain, including a big ticket item for the Pentagon that even the Pentagon doesn't want. It's the massive C-17 cargo plane, very same aircraft that carried us back from Haiti along with a plane load of Haitian evacuees. The Air Force has a lot of them. They're about to get more of them, and that's the problem. Our senior investigative correspondent Lisa Myers has more in tonight's Fleecing of America report.
The C-17 cargo plane is the workhorse of the military. It carries troops and equipment to war zones, helps in a crisis like Haiti. Just about everyone agrees the C-17 is a terrific plane. But the Pentagon has said it has enough and wants to stop buying them. Still, Congress just voted to build 10 more planes. Cost $2.5 billion. Today, the president said this makes no sense.
Unrequested money for more C-17s that the Pentagon doesn't want or need. It's waste, pure and simple.
Since 2006, Congress has forced the Pentagon to buy 43 C-17s it did not request. Last fall, Defense Secretary Robert Gates warned that buying more planes diverts limited resources and will invariably result in a reduction in critical warfighting capability. Senator John McMoney from the troops, and hurts their ability to fight. Lisa Myers, NBC News, Washington.
When Nightly News continues on a Monday night as we start off a new week, more from Haiti. 2 miles off the coast, the giant floating hospital saving lives, providing comfort, the everyday miracles going on board. And later, kicking off Black History Month with a woman who is making history every time she reports to work. We are back, returning again as promised to the situation in Haiti, specifically tonight on board the U.S. Navy hospital ship Comfort off the coast of Haiti, where American caregivers are literally working around the clock to treat the wounded and save lives. Our own Robert Bazell is on board the Comfort, watching the unbelievable scene unfold firsthand.
2 miles offshore, its facilities equal most U.S. hospitals. 85 doctors and 150 nurses have treated close to 700 severely wounded survivors in 2 weeks.
If we stopped taking any patients, we probably had 3 more weeks of operating before we would finish up and clean out all the wounds.
And there is no intention of stopping. New patients arrive daily. This woman has a lower leg bone fractured in 5 places. At any hospital in Haiti, the leg would be amputated. But here they have the specialists and supplies to save it. There are even psychologists for those like Desiree Nagy. Robert Bazell, NBC News, off Port-au-Prince.
And when we come back here tonight, how this country changed forever at a lunch counter. Also ahead, who had a big night during music's big night. You're looking at what happens when a traffic reporter in a spotter plane becomes the traffic incident. The pilot of the Cessna landed on the Jersey Turnpike this morning after a warning light came on. He actually did the right thing, looked for a flat surface and an opening in traffic as to not endanger any lives on the ground. Taxied right over to the shoulder. Turnpike Authority spokesman said they usually can't even get cars to drive that well. And for my fellow New Jerseyans, it was right near exit 4. Traffic quickly backed up for a mile and a half. Last night, the music world had what it likes to call its biggest night. And it was big. Sure, the Lady Gaga Elton John duet actually qualified as over the top. as did the Cirque du Soleil act from Pink. After hearing Michael Jackson's two eldest children remember their dad, brought a hush to the crowd. It was a record-setting night for Beyonce, who collected 6 Grammys, while the biggest prize of the night went to 20-year-old Taylor Swift, who won Album of the Year. 50 years ago today, this country saw the beginning of a revolution, the first day of the very first civil rights sit-in, nonviolent protest at a segregated Woolworth's lunch counter in Greensboro, North Carolina. The idea then spread to scores of cities across the South and sparked a national movement. Today, the very same Woolworths opened as a new civil rights museum in Greensboro, just in time for the start of Black History Month. More on that when we come back. When it comes to breaking barriers, a woman who really knows the drill. Finally tonight, along with our partner website, thegrio.com, we mark Black History Month by profiling those who are making history right now, every day, 100 of them. Tonight, a woman who doesn't so much take orders, but gives them. She is helping young Army enlisted personnel to change how they think about drill sergeants, because she's in charge of them. Her remarkable story tonight from NBC's Ron Mott.
Ron Mott, NBC News, Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
When a Command Sergeant Major speaks, you listen. All this month, we'll be marking Black History Month on our partner website, thegrio.com, with news stories, commentary, plenty of video, including some great footage from our archives. And on this broadcast tomorrow night, another name from the Grio's 100, Ann Curry, talks to a creative genius who keeps reinventing himself and finding new audiences, this time on Broadway. For now, that's our broadcast for a Monday night. Thank you for being with us. I'm Brian Williams, and as always, we hope to see you right back here tomorrow evening. Good night.